G'day guys. Easily the biggest challenge I've faced in my life has been the feeling of loneliness. But the problem for me is that when I look back, it's even the times when I've been around people that I've still felt incredibly lonely. So in this video, I'm going to explore why it is that we feel lonely even when we're around other people and what we can actually do about it. So I want to start with one of my favorite quotes from Carl Jung about loneliness. And it goes, "Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself, or from holding certain views which others find inadmissible." Now in my case, this perfectly explained my loneliness. When I was living in London, I was doing a PhD at the time in international politics. I'd just set up IdeaPod as a side project to try to help people connect online. And I remember feeling incredibly lonely. I remember feeling like my ideas were so complex, that I was heading in such a unique direction, and that no one really understood me. No one really understood my ideas, and no one could really relate to the goals I had. So I was walking around London on this PhD with a scholarship, feeling pretty good about myself for that. Also had this side project, a website that was getting a lot of interest, and people were encouraging me to quit the PhD and to launch that, which is what I ended up doing, moving to New York. And also in my love life, I was really struggling because I felt like I was operating at some kind of frequency where people just couldn't relate to me, couldn't really lock in, and couldn't really connect with me. So I'd go on dates, and because I was just so wrapped up in myself and what was going on, and because I felt so unique, I just couldn't connect with anyone. And I always felt like the problem was other people. And that's where this quote from Carl Jung is really powerful in my eyes, because it's all about how we feel so lonely when we feel different from people. We feel lonely when we feel like the perspectives we've got in life aren't shared by people around us. We feel lonely when we're connecting with people, but we feel like we're not really aligned in purpose or goals or the dreams we've got for life. And that perfectly explains the loneliness that I was feeling in all of these different realms of life. So the question I've got for you right now, before we dive in a little bit into this, is, do you relate to this? Would this describe the loneliness that you feel? Would it be that you feel like your goals are different, your dreams are different, your hopes, your beliefs, your ideas, your values? Would you feel like those are the things that are separating you from people in your life, whether it's people in relationships, in your love life, with your family, in work, whatever the case may be? Is that the case? Let me know in the comments below. Let's start a conversation with each other and start to explore this. So this is the first part of it. It's that when we feel like we don't have things in common, when we don't share values with people, when we've got different beliefs from people around us, that's when we feel the most lonely. And I think that when people read that quote from Carl Jung, what feels like the obvious path to take is to go deeper in exploring what makes us unique, so that we can find the right people to connect with. So we recognize that we are incredibly unique, but we just need to work harder at finding other people that share our uniqueness. I've ended up adopting a very different approach, and I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but I just want to comment on the state of social media right now, because I feel like our communication systems are keeping us even more trapped in our loneliness. So the way it works is that whenever you use Facebook and Google and Twitter and anything driven by these algorithms, what they end up doing is they monitor the things that you click on, and they end up showing you more and more content that's aligned with the things that you already believe. The result is that we become very easily trapped in our realities. So we become trapped in our beliefs about the world because the algorithms just show us more and more content like that. So for example, if I'm a climate change activist, I'm going to continually see more and more information that confirms my worldview about climate change, and that's how I'm going to start to interface with the world. But if I'm a Trump supporter, perhaps a conservative, then I'm going to see more and more content like that, and that keeps me really trapped in those beliefs as well. So what's ending up happening is that we're feeling really unique and special. We're becoming lonely for feeling unique and special and different from people. But then the more we use technology, the more we get trapped down the rabbit hole of tunnel vision. That's all we see anymore. It starts to confirm that these beliefs we hold are so rigid and real and justified because there are other people out there that believe it. We see them online, but we can't actually connect with the average person that we meet in our love lives, with our family, in our work lives, whatever the case may be. So that's what we're going to focus in on how to change that. But I just wanted to comment and say that I think that technology these days is getting us more and more trapped in these feelings of loneliness. So the solution to all of this for me has been to shift the focus from what makes me special, unique, and different in my beliefs, my values, my ideas, whatever the case may be. It's to shift from what makes me unique to what I've got in common with people around me. And it really is as simple as that. That's the key thing. But I'll take you through these 3 key areas of life in my own life. And I'm hoping that you can think through your own love life, your own work life, your own family life as we go through this as some sort of powerful exercise to reframe what we think is really important about who we are. So the thing to do right now is to stop telling yourself the story of what makes you so special and unique from everyone around you, that's then resulting in focusing on all of these special people in the past that you managed to connect with around what makes you unique. So in my case, that really was those few cases where I felt like I could intellectually connect with someone. She had huge ambitions for her own life in a similar way to me, and we just really connected around all of that. I've got to take a huge step back from that. I've now got to start focusing on who I am, the story of who I am, and that story's got to be based on what I've got in common with more and more people around me. And eventually, what is it that I've got in common with everyone around me? So to do that, we've got to go a lot deeper into who we are. So the exercise right now, if you want to carry it out, is to think through the people in your love life and to take this opportunity to also think through the people in your work life and in your family, these really important areas. And instead of focusing on what makes you different from them, what makes you unique, how your beliefs are different, what are the beliefs that you have in common? So don't even focus on the different beliefs, because we're always going to have different beliefs from other people, especially in this crazy world we live in. Instead, let's search for the things that we've got in common. Next time you go out on a date with someone, if you're single, then think through, what is it that I've got in common with this other person? Let's find that. Let's find the shared passion. Let's actively explore for what it is that makes us tick. Let's not focus so much on what makes us different from each other. Let's really go deep in figuring out what we've got in common. And then this pursuit of self-knowledge, this pursuit of figuring out who we are, it doesn't need to be done separately from the interactions we have with other people. And that's something that I think becomes very tempting when we try to address our loneliness. We need to separate ourselves from the world around us. We need to really go deep into figuring out who I am in a really profound and mystical and wonderful way. Take a step back from all of that and instead use the loneliness that you feel as motivation to carry out this exercise, to figure out what it is that you've got in common with people around you. Thanks for being here, everyone. Now I've got one more thing to do, which is to go to the comments below and share with all of us something that you feel like you've got in common with lots of other people in your life. And then as you go through the comments, if you see something that you feel like you can relate to, reply in line, and let's start to build a bit of a community here so we can actually go through this together, not focus on what separates us, but focus on the things that we've got in common, the things that we deeply share, so we can start to break through these feelings of loneliness and relate to ourselves and each other in a very powerful and very different way. Well, it's kind of ironic because I'm doing a video on loneliness and shifting from what separates us to what we've all got in common. And I've just met Natalie walking along with a beautiful dog here at Wimbledon Commons, and we've just started chatting and realised we've got so much in common. Fellow Australians, similar journey in life, focused on health, nutrition, wellness, and we were just talking about loneliness.
And it's really ironic, we both came to what we found to be our favourite, well, you've only been here 2 weeks, but we found
it's my favourite right now, for sure.
Gorgeous lake in the middle of Wimbledon Common, and we were talking about connectivity and with lockdown and how people have realised when you take away that human connection, you realise how important it is, and one of the basic human needs is connection, and finding things in common with others really is fantastic for well-being. You know, it makes you feel whole, and it's really nice to meet Justin, a fellow Australian.
It's been a special moment. I'll put my glasses on for solidarity because we've both got that going on. But yeah, it's been a really nice moment, and you know, being open to what we've all got in common rather than what separates us, I think has been definitely a nice moment here. If you like this video, please do subscribe to it to see more videos like this. I've started creating more videos lately. I'm really enjoying it and I'm loving all the comments and the community feel that we've got. See you next time.